So that's something to work on in general, and we're working on it in this class right now, but carry it with you. So also, let's just take another 2 minutes, close the mouth, make sure your mouth is in fact closed. So the breath is only allowed to go in the nose and out the nose. Right, and I'm just sitting here bringing people into the mix, admitting people, but don't let that distract your practice. Don't be waiting around for me, but instead dive right into watching your breath come in all the way to full. Hold it 2 seconds, 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds someday. Slow exhale, let the breath go out and watch it the whole way. This polishes your mind, this calms your nervous system. Hold the breath empty for a moment so you're not in a rush to inhale. And then when it feels appropriate, you inhale, draw that breath in. You hold it for a bit, give that pressurized, it's almost like a chiropractic adjustment to the body every time you hold that breath nice and full. And then you exhale and let that breath seep from the body. When it's empty, you hold it empty for a little while. That vacuum that you've created there will then turn into a sort of snap reaction of inhale, pulling that breath in, holding it. And then when you're ready, you exhale. So let's just do that again. Another couple moments where we're dropping off also our tension. So notice if you're grabbing in your body, try to release in your body. Anywhere that you're suspending yourself up above the ground, let yourself connect through the ground. When you really relax, you actually root through the ground, and then the ground bounces back up or rebounds back up and actually creates a buoyant support system. You do not have to hold yourself above the ground, but rather you can release and let go and drop off. And that's so much of what Tai Chi and Qigong are doing, sloughing off tension. Final 30 seconds, get a couple of really thorough breath cycles in. Also take notice that your breath has a rhythm, sort of like a metronome. Stay on your rhythm. Do not try to catch up to my rhythm. So as I start to teach the various little exercises, don't feel rushed. Just take your time. It's so important to really indulge in this practice. First exercise, spinal flexion and extension. So you're sitting, just round the back, drop the head, open all the vent channels of the body. So open up the back, create a little C shape with your body, and just hold that for a moment. And then, as it feels appropriate, come back from there towards neutral. So now we feel what neutral is, right in the middle, and then go from there towards arch. Lift chest, lift chin, lift eyes. And then release that and settle back to neutral. Let's do this 2, maybe 3 times based on your rhythm. So you're looking for a little bit of movement through the entire spine. So here we're sort of exaggerating poor posture. And then we're moving from that poor posture to better neutral posture. Then we're exaggerating overcorrection of good posture, right? This is like an exaggerated version of someone trying to stand upright. And then settling back to the middle. The middle is the key, but we can't just hold the middle. We actually have to clear the junk in all directions, and then the middle becomes a natural state. Let's make that the last one there. Come back to neutral. Again, feeling like a string is tied to the crown of your head, pulling you lightly upwards. Left hand, right knee, right hand up to right hip. Start to turn your chest and shoulders to the right, turn your head to the right. Get a nice twist. Think of this like wringing out a rag, wringing out. And then release and come back to neutral. So these twists do many different things that are wonderful. Go ahead to the other side. Right hand to left knee, left buttock. Twist. So we're wringing out the muscles of the actual spine, right? The ones that attach to the vertebra. But we're also compressing the space within. So we're giving our organs something that organs really like. They like to be compressed and released. So we're going ahead again to the other side, turning, compressing, squishing, squeezing, wringing out that rag. And then releasing. And we go to the other side again, twisting. Use your hands to help you get that extra little bit of wringing out. And back to center. Now imagine you got water in your right ear. Drop your right arm alongside you, left arm alongside you as well. And now try to get that water to just gently pour out of your right ear. And also let your right arm become heavy. Your left elbow floats. So just this little droop to the side, a side bend. And then back to center. This is called lateral flexion and extension. Other way. Left arm heavy, drip water out of your left ear. And then back to center. Let's go again to the other side. Droop. Maybe even let this left hand float up a little higher. Maybe even some of you will feel like, oh, reaching. And then we're back to center. And one more to the other side. So it's this drooping quality. And then that right hand just floating up. And we are back to center. All right. Now, from our seated position, and again, if I didn't mention, I usually do, make sure you're sitting at the edge of your chair, front edge, right? So you're forward, right? And look how much of my thighs are above the floor, not stuck on the chair, okay? So now we're shrugging up and we're releasing down. Elevation and depression of shoulder blades. Elevate and depress. Elevate and depress. Now the other gesture, the shoulder blades protract and retract. Shoulder blades spread apart. The chest will slightly hollow. The arms naturally inwardly rotate. Think of this again like a rag. You're wringing out this rag. Relax that gesture. You're back to neutral. Then wring out the rag the other way. Shoulder blades go back towards each other. Arms turn, palms out. Chest lifts naturally. Then release back to that neutral position. And protract, internally rotate slightly round. Let your head fall forward. And we're back to neutral. Go the other direction. Retracting. Shoulder blades squeeze towards each other and back. And back to neutral. Now we'll do one arm at a time for a moment. Right arm, forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back, down. Now feel how the shoulder blade is the main mover. The arm is following. The arm behaves sort of like a tail. It just sort of rolls through internal rotation and external rotation, other direction. So same arm, back, up, over, down. Over and down. So getting this circle. Again, this is an area, the shoulder blade is one of the most complicated joints in the body. It can do so much, but usually we have let it become sort of frozen. Let's go other side. So it's forward, up, back, down. Shoulder blade tension negatively affects the neck, the head. It can be the cause of headaches. It can also create, of course, frozen shoulder and other issues. So it's very important that we keep this area mobile and supple. Switch directions, go back, up, and over. Back, up, and over. Get this fluid, easy, relaxed way of moving, right? Now we're going to do both. We're going to add to it. We lean forward a little bit while we protract and internally rotate. Then shrug the shoulder blades up and lean back and bring them both back. And then down. Again, forward and up, back and down. Forward and up, back and down. One more. Forward and up, back and down. Good. And other direction. Back and up, forward and down. Back up, forward and down. So notice we're hinging at the hips. We're moving our spine. The shoulder blades and arms are moving. Getting a lot of wonderful fluid movement. All right. And back to neutral. Now, right arm only, we're going to circle from the shoulder joint. So lean a little bit over so it's hanging, and then draw a circle on the floor, small to large, getting larger each time. Some of you will feel like you got that down. If you can, then you can sit up and make this circle here. I'll turn sideways so you can see it's like I'm drawing a circle on the wall, and I'm not trying to get my hand really, really high. It's more about the joint here, getting a nice relaxed circle. Then bring it to relaxed position. Then do inward circles. So you lean a little bit, inward circles, larger, larger. And then if you feel like you can, then you sit up and you make a circle along the side, as if drawing a circle with your index finger on the wall to your right. Last one, and down. Other side, lean, small circles, like you're stirring a little pot of soup. Maybe a little larger still. And then if it's okay for your body, then you get up and you do this one here. But remember to every time let it come down, let it relax through, relax through, relax through. One more. Stillness, release it, let it hang, inward circle. A little larger still, and then you can add that circle along the side of the body. And again, I'm talking, so I can't really be doing my breathing, but you can be doing nice quality breathing. All right, arms drop alongside, fold at the elbows. Now imagine you're crushing something in your elbow crease. So crush it, and then release it. And let the arms fall down and feel this open bounciness. Goal here is fold one more time, compress at the elbow joint, and then relax the elbow. So you're gaining command, brain command, of telling your elbow to relax. Let's do that one more time. Compress, so you're telling it to be compressed, and then you're saying, okay, no more, relax. And that's a command that you're learning from your brain. Drop down, good. Now, float the arms up straight with palms to the sky. Turn your palms down and up using just your forearms. So if I lean forward, you can see the movement's just coming in this forearm area. So rolling, corkscrewing. And then palms face up. Keep them there, a little in and out with the wrists. In and out. And then circle, so go in and notice how much the wrist is folding. So many people that I work with have a tough time really understanding this. They fold at the elbow. Instead, the elbow doesn't fold, the wrist. And then drop the wrist through and bring it up and round and through. So round and through, round and through, round and through. And then maybe someday you just flow through the fingertips and switch directions. Turn the hands a little bit in, bring them pointing back, up, out, spin, 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 and then just flow and release. Let your arm swing a little bit, and then tiger claw, finishing the hands. Spread, claw into a fist, release and spread, claw, fist, spread, claw, fist. Now that same spread, claw, fist happens with our final upper body opener here. So make a fist, turn hands to the back of the hands face forward, and press elbows and inner hands together, and round the back a bit and pull the elbows down. Create this deeply rounded position. Then open the elbows apart, begin to open your fingers, lift your chest, and lift up and look to the sky and open the whole front body. And then close. So tiger claw into a fist as you wrap, round, press, squeeze, curl. This is lymphatic pumping. This is the best pumping practice in all the Qigongs. Opening, flaring open the front, and then closing. So much of what ends up making us feel so good at the end of practices like this is the fact that we pumped the trash, the garbage that accumulates all throughout our body, through our lymph system, which has a whole canal and meridian river system throughout. Let's do one more. And so that can become stagnant, especially if we're chair bound or, everyone's sort of quarantined these days. So it's so easy to become stagnated. And then lastly, opening, and just let the hands drop alongside you. So we just really got everything open. We pumped everything. It's just good. And these practices, again, I'm recording this, so I really encourage you guys to use the recordings and do it every day. Maybe even twice a day for some exercises. At least every other day doing something, right? It's very important. Now, sitting back against the back of your chair now for a moment, and let's get right leg extended, firm the thigh, and then bring it back down. Left leg, extend and push like you're almost doing a martial art kick through your heel. Now, let's add to that chamber, bring the knee up, and then push. So this is like a martial art kick, front push kick, and then re-chamber and down. Now, that's too much for you for any reason, then just work on leg extend, leg back down. But if you want to add to it, chamber, push kick, extend through that heel, get a full extension, thigh, tone, everything, re-chamber that leg, load it up, and then set it down. So now, chamber, push, chamber, down, chamber, push, chamber, down. We're going to do a few more. You can even pretend you're a boxer. Your hands up with your right hand a little forward, left hand a little back, and you're doing a front push kick. Push and back, down. Left leg, switch your stance. So now your left hand's a little in front. Push, return, down, switch, chamber, push, and down, switch. One more, push kick, and down. Now, foot and ankle. So straighten the leg, hold it there. Let's go point, flex, point, flex. You can see, because I have no shoes on, how much my toes are getting involved, right? I'm pointing and then clenching with those toes, creating foot cramps if I can. It's like a dancer's foot. And then I'm pulling back and spreading. Point and clench, spread and flex. One more. And switch. Point and clench, spread and flex. We want supple, mobile toe joints. Point and clench, spread and flex. And it's been more than a decade where in my life, I don't go by, a day goes by when I'm not doing some of this stuff, if not all of this stuff. Let's go ahead, right leg extend. Now, instead of point flex, let's go evert, invert. So in, a little out with the ankle. So the foot stays in a flexed foot position. In and out. These are the ones that keep us stable when we're standing on one leg or when we step on a little pebble in the street. It's that ankle's ability to move left and right. Let's go the other side. A little in and a little out. A little in and out. Evert, invert. Eversion, inversion. Anatomical terms. And switch. Full circle. So now put it all together. in, point, out, back. You can see the toes can start to really get involved. You can go in and sort of clench the toes and then circle and come opening, around, switch directions, out, in, out, in, out, in. One more. And switch feet. In to out, circles. This idea that you do not want to let stagnation build up. So that's the importance of the daily routine, daily practices. Let's go out the other way. You don't brush your teeth once a week, right? So this would be the same thing. Think of your muscle pathways, your joints, your meridians, your energy meridians, your nerves as just the same. You would floss your teeth and brush your teeth every day, twice a day even. So think of that, right? Let's go ahead and set that foot down. Now scoot forward again to the front edge of your chair. Let's do our swivel steps for the rotation of the hip. Lift the left ball of foot, rotate at the hip. Notice this open angle. Place ball of foot down, lift heel, internally rotate. Do it again. Externally rotate with the toe lifted, then lift the heel, internally rotate. Lastly, open and hold there all the way out. Rubbing that inner thigh to create to have good flow through this space here. And then let's walk it in. Internal, external, moving from the hip. Internal, external, neutral. Other side. Lift ball of foot, external rotation. Lift heel, internal rotation. Lift ball of foot, external. Lift heel, internal. Finally, external, and hold and rub that inner thigh. So you got the groin all the way out, the inner thigh to the knee. And let's walk it back in, X, in, external, neutral. Good. All righty. So now, folding, hinge at hips, and then slide the hands down, round, and hang. Now keep yourself rounded as you sit back up, dragging your hands along your shin all the way up to sitting, where you then create a little arch to the back, like you're looking up to the sky. Keep that arch present as you fold at the hips, Then slide the hands down, release the head, the neck, the shoulders, round. Keep rounded as you rise up. So you're open back as you come all the way up. And create that arch back position and forward fold. So let's just do this a few times. Eventually, this one can really start to have a flow to it, where we are getting serpentine-like motions through the whole spine. We're getting this wave-like motion, the spinal waves. Right, and this is so good for the cerebral spinal fluid that washes our nerves and heals our nerves. We're helping to pump it. Last time, rising up. Take a few moments of breath here. Now, first thing is, this next one is shift your weight a little more to your right buttock, and then shift a little more to your left buttock. So just notice how you can do that. Then shift to the right buttock, and then sort of leaning forward. You're on the front end of your sits bones. Come around to the front end of the left sits bone. Now lean back and notice that you're on the back end of that sits bone. So roll your hips around, right? So doing that a couple of times and just getting that control, switch directions. Forward. So this is level one of this exercise, just this command of the pelvis, being able to feel how the pelvis is rolling on this ball, this little circle. And then we're back to center. Now recall the beginning of class where we rounded the spine, arched the spine, We also drop to one side, we drop to the other. Now we put all that together. As you let your hips go off to the right side, drop your spine slightly left. As your hips go forward, let your chest lift and drop the head back. So now you're in a back bend. Then your hips go over to the left. Let yourself drop your head over to the right side. And then as your hips go back, let yourself be dropped and rounded. Then over to the right, where you let your head and shoulders fall left. Then hips come forward and around. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see for a different angle. So as the hips go to the right, upper body is left. Hips go forward, upper body leans back. Right? And we're getting this rotation around all the vertebrae. One more to the front and switch directions. So if this one feels hard to you, it's because it is. This is a difficult command to tell your body. So just try to do what you can do. Of course, if anything hurts in a negative sense, you back off. But what we're doing is we're getting this rolling quality around the spine. So again, we're liberating spirals within the body. It's very important to feel those spirals. And then we're back to neutral and settle into the middle. Take a couple of breaths here. Some of you might feel a little dizzy. Some might feel a little sort of just like breakup of something, fluid moving through the body, sort of like sensation moving through the body. That one can be very powerful. All right, drop your arms alongside you. Float the arms up shoulder height and then back down. Float the arms up forward shoulder height with palms facing each other and back down. One more of each. When we do this, notice that only what's known as the deltoid muscle, the shoulder muscle, is engaging here, but the shoulder blades in your back have not had to change their position pretty much at all. Either this way, the same is true this way. The shoulder blades aren't having to do anything, just the arm muscle right around the joint there, right around the socket. Now, what we do then, on the next bit here is take the arms out to the side. At the shoulder position, turn your arms so the palms face the ceiling, and then take them up higher. Now what needs to happen is the shoulder blades in your back have to do what's called upward rotation. So reaching up to the sky. Now once you're here, reach your right arm or left arm a little higher and then settle it back down. Right arm a little higher. That's more upward rotation in your back and on the shoulder blade. Other side. A little higher and down. Little higher and down. Now both a little higher. Reach, reach, reach. And then let those arms come out all the way down alongside you. Now we're going to get to the same reach position, but going forward, and it has a different pathway to it for the body. So go forward, keep going forward and up. All the way, keep going up, up, up. And once you get up here, then lift the chest and lift the chin and create a bit of a back bend. This can be so invigorating to just reach to the sky and get that length. And then back down. So these are more from yoga, but they're very valuable to clean out the shoulder blades. Let's do one more of each. Arms out, turn the arms, the palms face the sky, continue on up. Try to get that little more reach, reach, reach. Both arms, reach, reach, reach. And reverse. Forward and up into that light back bend. Forward and up. Keep going, reach to the sky. Oh, clearing out compression, congestion in the middle body. And back down. Hands on your thighs, 5 breaths, make them good ones. Nasal breathing. Let everything settle. All righty. Now, sit to stance. So remember, the key here is the feet come a little behind the knees, the fold of the hips. The gesture is forward. And we pause in this squat, then push the floor away to rise the rest of the way, up to standing. To sit down, butt goes back, head and shoulders come forward. I haven't bent my knees yet. Then I bend the knees by sticking the butt back, land it on the chair, and then back to a neutral seat. So let's go up again, but pause in your squat. So you go forward and pause. Then push down to rise. Folding, pause before you bend your knees, and then feel that bend of knees as a sitting of the tush. Rather than the knees vectoring forward, it's more the butt going back. Now, you can do that first version where you pause at the squat, or if you feel it, you could just flow right up where you got to go forward and up in one smooth motion. Same thing, folding and sitting, and neutral. Do 3 more. Remember, the key here too, especially when standing, is to get to neutral standing so that it's relaxed again. So this is effort, 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 effort. Relaxed. And then control, 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 control. Relaxed. 2 more like that. So think of that. Effort, and then no effort. Relaxed. Standing. And then control descent. And relax. 1 more time. All right, 3 of them with the held squat. So sit to a squat that you can maintain and just stay right there. Hold. Breathe through the nose. And rise. 2 more. And rise. Last one. And rise. All the way up. All righty, so we're standing. Now, Tai Chi squats. First, we got to get our stance just a smidge wider. Shift your weight to your right leg. Do a little heel-toe step of left foot and shift. So now you're in your Tai Chi horse stance, or your Tai Chi squat. So remember that when we're squatting, we're not doing this now. We're keeping the hips under and we're just sinking through the legs like we're trying to compress them as if they were a spring, which they are, like a bed spring. Spring down and then rise up a little bit. So with this same movement of sinking and rising, we do what's called billowing the clouds to just get this feeling of fluid through the body. So notice the hands now come up and out, and then as you sink, the hands just come down and dip into clouds, and then as you rise, they come up. So you're trying to get this feeling of your whole body being used together, sink and rise, and that it's springy, it's spring-loaded, so you can actually sink, rise, and just ride the wave of that. Let's do about 4 or 5 more. Each one could get a little bigger, right? Where the hands are now circling out to the side. Notice elbows, the shoulders, everything in the body is getting a little gentle treatment here, billowing the clouds. And if you can imagine that you are, in fact, engaging with clouds and pulling up the mist and just billowing it out in front of you, this helps develop gracefulness to your movement, sort of like ballet, right? A little bit. Last one. And the hands sink down. Tai Chi standing. The thing, hopefully, that you feel a little bit with this movement of the arms is that they're no longer stiff, right? They've loosened up a little so that when you sink, you feel sort of hydraulic flotation, a little space in between the armpit there. And now we do rising hands. So the hands are float forward and up. Back of hands as if painting the wall in front of you with the back of the hand. And then as you sink your elbows, the fingertips lift and they follow and you sink down. So let's just do 2 more of these. This is level 1 rising hands. Rise and fall. They say this pumps the chi through the 12 main meridians of the body. 1 more. Rising and sinking. And notice the legs slightly sinking, slightly rising. Now level 2, rising hands. I'll turn it to slight angle. Rise. And then draw back the hands. Elbows float behind. And then the palms sink down. And we're adding to this little movement here of slightly sit the tail round the back and droop. The hands just about to the knees. And then rise back up. That gesture helps clear all the way through the feet. Let's try that again. Rising hands. They float forward and up. Float back. Down like the trough of a wave. Down. And then the fingers point down and you just sort of droop, round, and release. And then rise back up. So you notice when I do my droop, round, release, my tail does sort of sink, but I get this like a bow, like an archer's bow. Bowing of the vertebra and then rising back, basic standing. Let's do that once more. Rising hands, hands come back, sinking down, and then get that little bowing. Little bowing, let the body round, let it release, and then rise to standing. Level 3, rising hands, quite a bit more involved. Try to pay attention, try to go with it. Rising, so far the same, returning. Now these just settle about partway down and extend forward like they're sliding out on a surface of glass, right? So out in front, and you kind of let your back sort of stay back. So you're lengthening that space, really good for the tissues and nerves. And then the hands come down alongside you. This one's a little odd as well. Come up underneath and then extend way out, like you're just really ironing out all the tissue pathways, and then come down. And then we do the rising and regular style. Level 2 is how we close it. Back, all the way down the trough of a wave, finger point down, and sink. Good. So that's the full rising hands. Let's do that again. Rising, returning. This is where it gets a little different. The hands just settle part way, and then they slide forward as you sort of anchor yourself in place to create some space through your back, right? Create that space. Then the hands drop as the palms turn to face the body. Then up behind you and underneath your armpits, and then way out. It's sort of really satisfying. Wow. And then down. And then as if it's level 2, that's how you close it. Rise, receive, down like the trough of a wave, and then just sink all the way through the feet to the earth, opening the back, and then rising back up to standing one more time. Right. Returning, settling, then extending, slide forward. Hands come down alongside, up the back and out. Ride that wave. Down. And then rising hands, receding back, sinking, and then all the way through the legs to the ground. And then we rise back up. Now, shifting laterally. Shift your weight more to the left leg. Right leg. My left, your right. And then shift more to your left leg. Notice the teacup. So the reason that's important is so that we're not doing this. So bring the whole body from one leg to the other. Ideally, what you'll feel is a lateral and then through, a letting go through, so much so that this becomes spring-loaded and this becomes empty. Then you're shifting. Same thing. Release your weight through that leg so the other foot empties. Now let's add rotation. Shift to the right, turn the hips just slightly right. Keep the hips turned right as you shift left, turn all the way to that left. Now you'll notice the hands will naturally, if you're out of the way, if you're not holding them, they'll just naturally start to do this movement known as the bear washing paws in the stream, right? So shifting, turning, shifting, turning. Those of you, as you improve with this work, you'll want to come away from sort of being here and you'll sort of sink inside of your hips so that you'll really feel how much is happening in here. Shift and turn, and how much that's leading what's happening in the outside, right? And you'll notice my feet, I'm sort of inching them a little bit apart, maybe taking a wider stance, but don't rush that. Feel free to stay at whatever level you're at, but shift and turn, and shift and turn, and shift and turn. Now on this one, put that left hand behind your back. Right hand turns around, it's still dipped in the water. This is called brush knee and push. So shift and turn, brush knee. Now let the arm float up like a crane wing and roll and fold. Now shift left, turn left. It's called push, where you just let the hand extend and then it drops down into the water. Now we're shift right, turning right, brush knee, crane wing, roll of the arm and fold the hand over, and then shift and turn and push. Again. Shift, turn, brush, crane, roll, fold, shift, turn, push. As the right hand comes down, left hand comes out, bear, standing bear across, right hand behind the back. Left hand, shift left, turn left, brush knee, roll, float the crane wing, roll and fold, and then shift right, turn right, push. Hand comes down, shift left, turn left, brush knee. Roll, fold, shift, right, turn, right, push. One more. Shift, turn, brush. Roll and fold, shift, turn. Now, as this hand starts coming down, right hand, bring it up, roll and fold. Now we're ready for shift left, turn left, brush and push. The hands go through the change. Shift right, turn right, brush and push. Hands go through the change. Shift left, turn left, and the key is let the hands go through, but keep your center. Again, shift, turn, hands go, but they don't pull us away because we're still centered, and that's what brings them orbiting back. Shift left, turn left, brush and push, keep your center. And then shift right, turn right, brush and push, keep your center. And back, across. Now let the right hand come down, left hand come down, standing bear, standing bear. Now keep yourself left leg, turn your right foot out a little, 5-10 degrees, step it behind you a bit, sit back into it. Like it's a spring-loaded chair, sitting in it. If I turn sideways, you can see I'm not doing that. You gotta bring the hip here and sit in that leg. Feel the ball of the foot is the place where you get your connection to the earth. Now empty this left foot and maybe get even up to the tippy toes. Some of you might even just like float the foot off the ground just a teeny bit and then touch it back down, float it down. So you're checking, is it empty? Let's switch. Step the left foot back, heels almost touching, shift, and then empty that right foot, toe touch out in front, and then maybe challenge, a little lift and lower. But notice, teacup, what often happens is if you have weight in that foot and you try to lift it, you lean to get it, and that's dangerous, and it throws off the alignment. So sit through and see if you can feel empty. Let's do that again. Step the right foot back, turned out, shift, and the left foot. Now add left hand up, left foot up, and can you maybe even bring that knee up a little higher? If you need, put your other hand on a chair and challenge yourself for golden rooster. And then step the foot down. And as you shift, change the hands. Left hand down, right hand up, right foot empty, either toe touch or lifted somewhere along that range. But focus on the feeling of sitting so well through your standing leg. Let's flow back and forth. So step the foot. As you shift, right hand down, left hand up, 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 up. As that left leg is empty, someday it'll just float like a feather. It's a very magical feeling that we can create by focusing on the other leg, the full rooting, letting yourself be so supported by that standing leg that the other leg is not needed. Last one. And down, both hands down, straighten all the way up. Now, find yourself back at your Tai Chi stance. Parallel, maybe a little wider than a hip distance. Knees a little bent, arms floating. Let's go standing bear, shift right, turn right. Shift left, turn left. So again, we're back to this rhythm of shift, turn. Shift, turn. Now here, put your left hand behind your back. Your right hand just swept through the lake and let it vaporize up and turn into a cloud. I'll step closer so you can see. This is called ward off. You're going to come across this various times. It's like a little rounded shield. It's not elbow sharp here and it's not straight. It's a mix of both. Rounded, back hand facing out, right? So now we've just shifted left, turned left, right hand has come up and become a cloud. Now shift right, turn your hips right, the cloud floats across the sky, and then it just very naturally rains down. You let it rain down, fill up the lake, and then let's shift left, turn left, sweep the hand through the lake, vaporize and rise on up. Shift right, turn right, cloud. Rain, fills up the lake, shift left, turn left, lake, vapor. Shift, turn, cloud, rain, shift left, turn left. Now lake, here, bring your left hand out, let's go standing bear across, we'll switch sides, right hand behind the back, lake, vapor, cloud, shift, left, turn left, cloud, rain, lake, shift right, turn right, lake, vapor, shift left, turn left, cloud, rain. Again, shift, turn. Now, as this vapors up into a cloud, bring the right hand out, let it be in the lake. Shift left, turn left, cloud and lake. Then rain and vapor. Shift right, turn right, cloud and lake. Vapor and rain. Shift and turn, cloud and lake. Eventually we do this move while side stepping. Vapor and rain. Shift, turn, cloud and lake. Vapor and rain. One more. Cloud and lake, vapor and rain. Last time across. Now, as the right hand comes down, just go back to standing bear, standing bear. Now, I'd like us to get the feeling of what the side step is like. So this is new. So if you have balance issues, which I know some of you do, make sure you have your safety mechanisms nearby you. So we're just going to take a little side step to one direction and back to center. Okay? So from here, no turning of the hips now, just lateral shift to your right leg. That foot should become empty. So if it's empty, it's almost floating like a hovercraft on a little pocket of air. Can you glide it in to a closer stance? And then shift into that leg now that it's closer. Make sure it's both over but also down and through. The right leg is empty. on a little pocket of air, step it laterally out. Shift. Once you've arrived in the right leg, then you float that left foot in. Let's go the other way. Step that left foot out, empty. Shift over, let it go through. As the right leg becomes empty, it can step in and land empty. Notice how I haven't put my weight on it, even though it's touching the ground. Then I decide to put the weight through it. Then this one becomes empty and I step it out. I haven't fallen into it. It's still empty. Then I'm shifting. Once this side is full, this one is empty, I step that empty foot in. And let's do one more step this way. Shift. Fill up that right leg. Step the left foot out, empty. Shift. Right foot is empty, step it in. Now let's go back the other way. Step out. Shift as if shifting underground. So we're getting a really great exercise for our abductor, adductors, pelvic floor, low back, and core here. Because we're practicing transferring the job of full body support to the left, stepping the other foot. Right here, this requires really good stabilization to not fall that way. And then shift. Now we're trading the job. This one is empty. Stepping in and not putting your weight in it requires that you really stabilize here. Land, shift, stepping out again. Let's just do it back and forth again to get this work of the pelvic floor. Side step. So the muscles that this trains, the strength that this builds is what allows us eventually to stand on one leg better, because we're learning how to stabilize using just one leg. One step that way, then we'll come back. We should be in the middle. Shift. Now step in, step back out. We're about at the middle of our space. If you're not, adjust yourself as needed. And let's do one more leg exercise before we are done. Shift your weight to your left leg. Turn your right foot out about 5 degrees, 10 degrees or so. Shift over to it. Now your left foot, step it straight ahead of you with, if you look here, there's width. There's a few inches between this heel and this heel. So that's as opposed to this foot having come across and now I'm standing on a toe. So use those adductors to go, or abductors, to step out a little bit. So, and then sink 70% of your body weight more into your front leg. Take your hips and turn them to face forward, pointing your belly button straight ahead. Now, sit back 100% into your back leg, and then shift forward 70% into your front leg. Shift back 100, and shift forward 70. Now we're going to add the arms. Sit back. As you sit back, just bring your hands up in front of your chest like you're holding an energy ball here. Then turn the palms to face forward. I'll be at an angle here. Shift 70% forward and let your hands express forward. They don't lock. They just express gently forward. Then turn your hands to face your body. Sit back 100%. Let your hands follow that flow in towards the chest, this receiving. Turn your palms. Now shift 70% forward to your front leg and push. Turn the hands. Sit back 100%. Receive. Let's do that again. Shift and push and hands express. Turn the hands. Sit back. Receive. Shift and push. And receive. Let's do about 4 more on this side. See if you can get it to feel like water. So it's like a wave. And then the receiving of a wave. Back. And then like a wave from the earth out to the fingertips. You're connecting the earth to your fingertips. and then back. One more. And back. Good. Now this front leg empty, step it back with toes turned out. Keep your width and keep your hands up. Let's shift over, and we're just going to step that right foot out with the same proper toes pointing straight ahead, but wide and a little bit of distance forward. 70% forward. Wave. Turn the hands. Sit back. Receive. Shift and push. And receive. Push. Receive. Number of repetitions, not as important as the quality. And by quality, I don't mean like good or bad quality, which I do mean that, but more what I mean is the qualities of soft, qualities of finished, thorough, letting it feel like it finishes and then turns over and comes back. And then it turns over and it comes forward and comes back. One more. Now we're going to challenge it just to finish. Challenge, sit back. Now here, as you step your right foot back, stand all the way to straight, drop your arms and let everything out of the body. Hold on to nothing. Then sink through your right leg, your hands float up like holding an energy ball, step your left foot forward. Shift forward and go into that push. Shift back and receive. Step back, toes turned out, 50-50, arms drop, everything's out of your body, holding nothing. Then with that nothing quality, that ease, just let the hands float, sink through the left leg, step the right foot, shift, 70, push. Sit back, 100, receive, step back, and standing up, everything's out of the body. 2 more each side, float. Sink, hands float, step. Shift and push. Sit back, receive. Step back and then release. Drop. Shift through the left. Raise hands and step. Shift forward, push. Sit back, receive. Step back, hands drop. 1 more of each. Last one. From standing, crane wing, roll and fold both hands, and then sink the chi from the head through the heart space, in the belly, all the way down to what's called middle embracing, where your hands are just right in front of your belly button, hovering. Breathing into the belly. Two more breaths. Letting everything, again, one of the beautiful visuals is the chi that you stirred up. If we just kept active, it would all burn off and go out. But when we become still, it soaks in towards the bones and in towards the reservoirs, the main reservoir being this belly here. Last inhale. And then just let your hands settle. Make sure your chair is where you think it is. Go ahead and have a seat. And you can rest. I know some of you are going to wander to the very next class. Sorry, I went about a minute past 1 here. Sorry if I threw you off there. So I'll stick around a little bit and chat. If any of you are interested in chatting, have any questions, comments, whatever. I'm unmuting everybody. Some of you will have to confirm that I'm unmuting you. So any